Welcome to Money Matters. I'm Tom Spottiswoode of River Bay Investment Group, Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And today I'm very excited to have on our show Jack Garson. He's an author and attorney based in Bethesda, Maryland. He just wrote a book, How to Build a Business and Sell It for Millions. And Jack, thank you. Welcome.
My pleasure, Tom. Thanks so much for having me today.
Thanks for coming on the show. I guess, you know, I really want to know a little bit about your business, but I guess, you know, in these economic times, it's a little bit counterintuitive to think about building a business and selling it for millions. But on the other hand, the timing right now might not be better.
You know, it's very counterintuitive. It was a great word that you used, because a lot of people right now are so afraid because people are being laid off and the economy is so bad that they're sitting on the sidelines. But some of the most famous businesses ever,
Sure.
IBM, Disney, General Electric, Hewlett-Packard, were all started in times of great financial distress.
Sure.
So that shouldn't stop you. What I always say is, it's never a bad time to start a good business. But there's some additional things that are working in your favor. There right now are very big defense contractors, very big tech companies, and they can't grow their revenue selling their existing portfolio of goods and services. They're out there searching to buy good small companies, bolt them onto their business, and then grow the revenues that way. On top of that, Lockheed Martin just offered buyouts to, I think, a couple hundred senior executives.
Right.
I think you saw that in the papers, a few
Right.
$100 million. A lot of those folks there, they're not going to bed. They're going to go ahead, they're going to take that money, it's going to be startup money for new businesses. This is not the worst time to start a business, and it's a great time to start a good business.
I mean, speaking about those executives, they have experience and contacts, and they've been through good times and bad times. That's irreplaceable, that type of information, that type of knowledge.
That's exactly right. And they may, quite wisely, go ahead and say, I have connections for money,
Right.
and I know these small businesses I've been
Right.
doing business with,
Right.
and they may be knocking on the door of your business, even though you're a startup, and saying, we want to acquire you, we want to joint venture with you, we want to do any number of things with you. So I would not, if you have the essential ingredients of a good business, I would not be on the sidelines right now. It's a good time to start a business. In fact, there's a lot less competition because people are so intimidated that when you normally have 5 businesses start in a particular area, you're lucky if you have 1.
Right, and then I see, you know, we've had a couple shows with related themes, and they're saying that now's a great time to advertise. Now's a great time. You can get cheaper rates. This is where you can build brand awareness. This is where you create an image for yourself, and I think that's what people want to take advantage of.
That's right. But the key comes down to, are you doing your fundamental blocking and tackling? You know, do you have the right ingredients for a good business? Don't take your life savings, don't take your parents' 401k money and throw it down the drain because you have a bad business. I'm not advocating that.
Sure. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business in Bethesda and what you do, and a little bit about your experience. I think that's a good place to start.
Sure.
We kind of jumped ahead.
You know, I wrote How to Build a Business and Sell It for Millions because for 25 years I've been an advisor to companies from the twinkle in the eye to the closing celebration where they sold their company for many, many hundreds of millions of dollars. And what I saw in those boardrooms and on those factory floors was decision-making that led to success and decision-making that led to failure. And I took notes over the last 25 years, and I started writing an article about it, and somebody said, this is a book.
Yes.
And that's what really led to the book. And the book is...
It's very readable, by the way.
Thank you.
I was looking at it this weekend. It's a lot of good stories. It's very interesting. It's dynamic. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's written for the business person. It's not written for a lawyer or an accountant. It's written for a business person. And the first 20 chapters are the ingredients, the cookbook for building and growing a business. And you don't have to go to the next 20 about selling. The next 20 are all about selling your business.
Sure.
If you never want to sell it, don't bother. Keep it. But you should have that option.
Yeah, well, you know, that's kind of interesting you say if you don't want to sell it. But I think the parameters that make a business successful to sell make it successful.
That's exactly right. You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah.
What's
good for a buyer? What's good for a buyer is good for you in almost every single situation.
And the thing is, I noticed too, when we do investments, so we help our clients. We work with a lot of businesses. We help them grow their assets, but we also sell insurance to help them protect it. And that's what I see is you never know what's going to happen. There might be a situation where you do want to get out, or you're forced to get out. It might be a health issue, it might be a family issue. And so you want to be in a situation, I don't know, to me it's like you really want to be in a situation where everything is, you're not irreplaceable, where the business can go on and you can monetize all your efforts and all your elbow grease, right?
That's so true. People say to me, why, if I don't really care about selling my business, why should I plan to sell my business? Well, the number one thing is you can never predict the future. You never know. You might change your mind. Your health might change your mind. You might have counted on your kids taking over the business. You might see an enormous amount of competition coming into the market and go, now's a good time to get out. Or you may be faced, like some businesses are, where, you know, to take it to the next level, I'm going to have to do things differently that I'm not comfortable with.
Right.
I might have to take in investors and give up control. And so I would rather just sell at this point. But because none of us have crystal balls, and you can do things a little bit differently at every stage and make your business sellable, then you're leaving a lot of money on the table down the road if you don't.
Sure. What sector, I guess there's two things. You look at your business as an income stream, but you also want to look at, hey, what's the end game? What am I going to get out of it?
Right.
But like you said, some business owners sabotage themselves, and they don't get to that level.
That's right.
Well, what are some of the reasons, some of the things that you see that business owners do that kind of handicap themselves?
It's an interesting thing. A lot of
it's mental, isn't it? It's all up here, right? It has
You're
nothing
exactly
to do with
right.
work, you know.
You're exactly right. There's something called the founder's dilemma, and what the founder's dilemma is all about is that the thing that makes for a great startup entrepreneur can be disastrous for a person to grow a business from a small-sized business to a large-sized business. Let me explain what I mean. The classic successful startup entrepreneur is fighting against all the odds, working 24 hours a day. They have the Bluetooth in their ear when they're watching their child's soccer game on the sideline. They're completely accessible to their customers. Every product that goes out the door, they're proofing it, making sure it's perfect. People are lined up outside their door waiting for approval on everything.
Right, right.
Okay, that person becomes their business. They get all their sense of self-worth out of their business. Now, and all of their people are there to leverage their skills. Now they go to sell their business. I'm sorry. Now they go to grow their business.
Grow their business.
Before they ever get to sell it. Now they go to grow their business. And a superstar saleswoman comes along, and all of a sudden that person's threatening to them because that person's in the limelight. First time they come back to the office waving that contract in the air, the person says they don't need me anymore. And now they want to sabotage that person.
Right.
There's a whole terrible process that goes on with the founder's dilemma, where the founder can't let go. You need to change from the Michael Jordan, James LeBron star player to the Pat Riley, Phil Jackson star coach. You need to change your identity from being the person that gets all the accolades to the person that gets satisfaction out of being a great coach.
Sure.
And bringing other people along and building this executive team that will grow your company. That's the founder's dilemma, and that's the #1 impediment to growing most small businesses that are successful into successful medium-sized businesses.
No, you're right. And it's the use of micromanaging. And I don't think all the time, I got to say, I don't think all the time it's about control issues, being a control freak. I think it's a lot of them, they're quality freaks, and they want to make sure the quality, but still then it becomes a control freak issue.
That's true. That's true. And you know, on that very point there, they say the quality has to be perfect. That's what got us where we are today. And then they don't go ahead and spend the money to hire someone good enough to do it. They spend half as much money and say, look, this person can't do as good a job. That's what I was trying to tell you all. Only I can go ahead and produce this product. We're staying small. And so they build in decision making that keeps them small.
I see it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just this is a little bit different, but it's related. I have my kids' soccer team. I took them from first grade, and now they're playing. These kids are 8th and 9th grade, and I took them from recreational to classic, and now we're playing travel. It's NCSL team. Well, last year I took them to NCSL, and I was just like way out of my league as a coach. And you know, but it was I finally got another coach. It was hard to let go. You know.
Yeah.
But I did it because I said, look, it's not about me. It's about the kids.
See, that's really good. That's the great entrepreneur, the one that says, it's not about me, it's about the business, and I got to bring in help. That's a great metaphor, because that's one of the solutions. The really good entrepreneur brings in a president that can help grow the company, or a CFO, or a CIO, and says, these people can do what I can't do. So that's a great solution.
All right, excellent. We're gonna hold right there.
Okay.
We'll be right back after this public service announcement. Please stay tuned.